All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another trading video here. Today is Friday, October 8th, 2021. We got 3 trades to go over today. One was yesterday on Grom, and then I had 2 today. So Grom here, I traded twice yesterday. I've actually got to, let's see, bring up these pictures of the order flow, but I played them in the morning. My first buy of 50 shares here at $5 even at 9.46. And then some sells there, so we'll just get into that. Grom had been up from the day before, so this is Wednesday. This was yesterday when I played it, and then this is, of course, today. So yesterday we had we closed right around $5 on Wednesday. So I was looking for a red to green move on that. And I kind of just missed the very, very beginning of this. Honestly, I don't remember what I was doing at the time to kind of miss this initial spike. And then we get this pull up, or this kind of slight pullback. So I got in right here at 9.46, right at $5 even. And it was a pretty good entry. I was looking for a nice run, breaking out past this previous high. And we kind of just got stuffed, right here. Didn't really go anywhere. And when I first got into it here at 9.46, we were just immediately kind of struggling with like the 505 level even. So I did take off 10 shares just right at 505. Then we get a little bounce here. So I sell some into 510. And so then I was holding the rest of my shares, hoping for a little bit bigger of a move. Let's see, that is the wrong one to look at. And so I held on to them for a little bit longer, but then ended up, or actually I sold 505, then 515, and then back-to-back 510s. So that was just kind of in this little area here. And then we finally did get a little bit of a move up to 535, and I got my last sale off at 529. So I'm happy with that one. The other ones, the 505s, 515s, 510s, I mean, they're all right. It was just really choppy right there, and I didn't really want to just stay around in case the rug got pulled out, so I was taking off a little bit of size. So it is what it is. It was a small gain there, and then we end up coming back down here in Grom. And like I said, I had got out at around 529, and then we come back down, and I try to buy this dip here at 510. We're kind of showing a little bit of support, and we had kind of struggled there, at least on the level 2. It was looking like we had support, so I got in at 510 there, and then it immediately, red candle, and we're hitting 482. And so if you watched my previous video, I kind of got I don't want to say like tricked into taking a loss, but it was just a panic that I just sold into the bottom of. And so today, I mean, I didn't have anything distracting me from it, and I realized that this was just a panic and I didn't want to get caught in the bottom. So I actually bought 30 more shares down at 495, I think it was. Yeah, 495. So I got in 1002 on this candle here, right at 510, and we get this big pullback, and then I buy some more shares right at 495, and we do go all the way down to 482, but I bought those shares kind of on the way back up from that big pullback of 482, and then I was just going to risk all 60 of them on a break of that 482 level. So the loss would have been a little bit more than I wanted, but it wouldn't have been terrible. I think my average got down to a 502 average on only 60 shares, so it would have been about a 20-cent loss on 60 shares, so nothing too bad. But you can kind of see from my sales here, because I did kind of get like chopped up in it, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did panic a little bit when we had this huge sell-off. I was hoping that this $5 level would hold a little bit better, or at least this 490 that we kind of had the previous support at. So when we just dropped through there, I thought, this could be just a massive sell-off and panic. But we did get a little bit of a bounce, but you can see here my sales were pretty soft, all at 505. Just in this kind of general chop, I was all out by 1009 here. We just weren't really getting any momentum. The high there was 515, and then we drop all the way back to 488 in the next minute. So when I sold out here, I was, kind of happy with it. I was just like, I kind of took what it gave me. I didn't take that initial loss, averaged it down, and came out with a win on both trades, although they were 2 small wins. It's better than 2 losses, or So I was all right with it, but then of course you just get the move that I was basically waiting for. I wanted it to happen off of this dip and run there, and we get it just after I leave the trade, and we end up running all the way up to 625 and hit 625 again. The only thing I do wish I would have watched and got in on these 550 bounces a little bit. We can't look at VWAP here just because it's a chart from yesterday, and VWAP is only on the current day. As you can see, it's over here, so it doesn't hold from the day before, but it was decently above VWAP, so I was kind of hoping that we would get a harder pullback and kind of get a VWAP bounce, and we held that 550 level and got nice bounces off of it, but I did not play any of those. So just kind of this morning chop I was in, and just got out a little bit too early, and just didn't get the big move I was hoping for and kind of thought would happen. It did end up happening. Unfortunately, I was just out of it. So I'm not too upset about that trade. I'm happy that I was kind of right in my theses and just a little bit early. That's just, I don't know, something to kind of look into the times and the volume and stuff like that. That was something I noticed. We got the low volume here, but since we're kind of holding these levels with the low volume, that's generally a good sign that it's going to push back up. But in the moment, like I said, when I kind of got in this pullback to 482, which kind of was not in my plan when I had rebought those shares at 510, I wasn't really prepared for that pullback. Honestly, I was just a little shaken up and was just kind of taking the little green that I was getting from the trade and getting out of it. And then in hindsight, I was like, dang, we were holding these levels with really low volume relative to the rest of the morning, and should have stayed in there and gotten the move that I was buying for. I was really just hoping for like a push to 550 when I bought at 5, and a nice 10% gain, and see potentially running from there. And it really outdid that. But like I said, I just in a little early and just got chopped out. I should have just taken another re-entry when it was at 5, or breaking out through these highs there. Or even we get this nice consolidation once we do hit this 550 level, and then we're kind of consolidating right on top of these highs, are now creating the lows there. That would have been a good secondary move as well. And then today I tried to play CEI, and this one kind of, it was pretty much the same thing, except for I ended up taking a loss on CEI. So if you've been watching my videos, you've known that I've been talking about CEI. It's been going crazy, and we had this huge run up, and then we've just been getting crushed the last like 5 days or so, and we finally had the first green day, the green day reversal, and I was just looking for some continuation of that. I didn't think it would really hold up all day, but I was hoping for like a morning spike. So that's what I tried to play on it this morning, and we got this first morning kind of spike up here, which this isn't what I was looking for, and then we get this nice sell-off and some consolidation, and so I buy in this consolidation here, and I'm hoping for kind of just a bounce back up through VWAP and just kind of testing this like 230 240 level. And for me, it would have been a decent percent gain on it if we can pull this up here. I got in 100 shares at 218 there, and I ended up taking almost a $14 loss. I forget exactly what. I got executed a little bit above 204, I think. Or no, I got executed a little bit below 218. So it was basically a $14 loss. Not terrible, but yeah, I got in at 944 and then out at 949, which was a pretty bad exit. I pretty much bottom ticked it. The low here is 203, and I got out at 204. So that's pretty terrible. But as we look at the rest of CEI from today, it's just been getting absolutely crushed. So I was not about to just hold on to my shares and hoping for the bounce, because you can see here we get this giant red candle, a small bounce, another giant red candle, and then we do bounce again. But by the day we're down in the 150s, and we got to bounce into the close. So we're at the 170s now, but I just wasn't going to hold on to this stock that had been pumped so high, so hard for so long, and was just getting beat down, and it was below VWAP in the morning. I was not just going to sit around and hope that it turned for me. And of course, I get out at the bottom, and then once again, get that bounce that I was hoping for, and I just got in it a second too early. The loss got worse than I wanted it to. I was really planning on just cutting at 212 because these bottom wicks here are 213, and then again here at 213. And so I even had my E-Trade order like ready to go, and I just completely missed it. I don't know where my orders just went that I had up. Okay, that's different. But yeah, I was just really hoping to get out at two. Where did they go? Is this what I want? Yes. Now it's all the way up here. All right. So yeah, I was just trying to get out at 212. You can see I ended up having to cancel that order because it just dropped so fast that I wasn't able to get out. And let me close those. And so then I just, it's just kind of funny because when I went over my Grom trade, I was like, yeah, I learned from not selling into the panic and all that stuff. And then what did I do the very next day this morning? Sold right into the panic and like bottom ticked it. I mean, this one's a little bit different than Grom just because it does have a lot of selling pressure, very highly shorted, and is just being crushed on. It's definitely on the backside of the move, whereas Grom was, just on day 2 of its move. So that's a little bit different kind of with Grom, where I would hold on to it through a panic, whereas this, I'm just, getting out. And, it's not that big of a deal. I wish I would have got this bounce because, that's all you really need for a decent trade here. Down from 203 and then you get to the 230 level, that's more than 20%. Even if you don't get the very bottom and you get it at 205 on the turn or 210 and get out at 225, 230, that's a solid trade there on CEI. Unfortunately, just was a small loss for me. The one that really kind of pissed me off today was good old CCXI. So I got into this late day, and I'm not sure why. I just kind of ignored it all day. You can see it was really, really up there early in the year and just got, destroyed. And then today we had just a giant gap up. And I don't know, I saw people talking about it this morning, but when I saw the price of it and just how much it was up and it was like a $30 stock, I'm like, yeah, I don't really like to trade stocks at the $30 price. There's just not a ton of shares that I can buy. You have to have a lot wider of a risk level as far as you can't just cut something like this with a 10-cent risk or a 5-cent risk like I would do with CEI or something like that, because if it's going from $29 on the day and hits a high of 40, you kind of have to give it a little bit of room. So it's just kind of tough to get like a good risk management for me on a stock of this price. But it did seem to be setting up for a nice move late in the day. We had this nice uptrend. Honestly, these were perfect buys. Like I said, I just wasn't watching it all day long because of the price. But you get some really nice reclaims with VWAP and bounces off of there, and then a nice uptrend. And so what I tried to do here, we hit up to 40, and then we got this nice panic and a little bit of a bounce here, and then we get our second panic. So I was like, perfect. This is what I've been screwing up on CEI. I bought the first panic, and I was like, this is what I've usually mess up on. I get right in on the first panic, and then sometimes it panics again. And so then we see these next 1-2 minute candles, big red move, another dollar down, consolidating here. So I got in right at $38, and it's chopping around a little bit. And I was really just hoping like to go from 38 and just back to 40 and just get $2 a share. I had 30 shares, that would have been a nice 60 bucks. And, who knows, if we get back through 40, then it could have been a really nice move. But that's all I wanted from it. I felt like I wasn't asking for too much, or even just a bounce to 39, sell like 15 of them, and then let the rest kind of ride out and sell them for break even if we get. I was not asking for much here. But then we get a triple panic. I wouldn't even call these panics, just like sell-offs. This first one's kind of a panic. And then I got chopped up in here and sold out at $37.25 for like a $24 loss. So on the day, it was a $36 loss on the day between the two trades. Which the CEI trade, like I said, I don't mind. This one just pissed me off because I cut it down here at the $37 mark after I thought I had made a good move, waiting for that second drop, and then it dropped a third time, and then we literally get the same move that I was hoping for. This is like the third ticker, and literally every ticker that I'm going over in this video, all three of them, same exact thing. I get this little baby bounce, and I mean in the other on Grom, I sold into that little baby bounce and at least held that for green, even though it was very small. CEI, same thing. I just got in early and sold for a loss, and then 5 minutes later we get the bounce that I was hoping for. So yeah, this one does kind of bother me. This one was way over VWAP as well, so that's the only thing I can really say maybe I screwed up on was, at 38, we're still VWAP's at like 34.20 right here, so we are still pretty overextended. But I knew it had a bounce in it, or I felt like it had a bounce in it. It was just really hard to kind of gauge like a good level, like how far down would it go before it bounced. And it was just consolidating nicely here. And on the first run up, we kind of run into the same range of $38 where we kind of struggle for a little bit. Get consolidating right on this like 37.80-ish level here as well. And then we get that nice run. And yeah, that's what I was hoping for, but instead it decided to go down to this $37 level, which it didn't really have much of an issue getting through on the way up. So I didn't really think of that as much of support as that $38 level was. But I was wrong, and I was just mad that I took that loss. And then we get a bounce, and it was, I mean, if I would have just waited once again, I mean, that's a nice move there, $3 a share. Would have been looking good. But I mean, this stock was just, I mean, when you get up this high price, this big of gains on the day, like you don't get $40 stocks up 93% on the day now. It just doesn't happen very often. So you just have to be aware of, I mean, the huge pullbacks. Just look at the morning on it, went from 37 pre-market levels down to 29. So these things can get out of control really fast. This is kind of the price stock that I've taken some of my biggest losses on, trying to play stocks like this, like when the EV sector was really high and I was trying to play plug in like the 30s and 40s and 50s. When SPCE was going crazy with all the space exploration and all that stuff, I got stuck in space a few times up in like the $50 level. And like at first you don't think it's a big deal because I'm like, oh, I only have 20 or 30 shares. But then when you're losing $4, $5, $6 a share, I mean, the losses get ugly really fast. So that's why I cut it at 37.25, because I didn't want to just have it just keep dropping dollar by dollar on me. And it is what it is. I mean, at that point, I was just kind of pissed when I saw it bounce even up to like 37.80s. I was like, wow, I could have got out for not a bad loss whatsoever if I would have just waited a few more minutes. And then it comes back to the 37s. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was tempted to get in there, but I was just too mad about that. I was like, I'm not getting caught up in it. And so then I just saw it run up to almost $41. That was a nice way to spend my afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. It is what it is. It happens. It was a good setup, and just didn't play it as perfectly as I could have. I should have kind of got out of it for like a break even when we're chopping around this level here and just not showing much much momentum right there. And I could feel it. I was just kind of being stubborn, wanting that bounce to come, and then the sell-off just came once again just so fast that I ended up getting out much worse than I wanted to. And that happens. Happens a lot, honestly, because when the sell-off comes, it's just running through stop losses, and just like I'm trying to get out of it, other people are in the same boat, market selling and just tanking the price. So it is what it is. But yeah, this one did get me kind of mad compared to, like I said, the other ones I don't really get too upset about. CEI and Grom, it is what it is. This one, I think it's just because it was the same exact thing with CEI, the same dip that I got just fooled out and in on the dip too early for the second time in the same day, and I was just like, you know what, I'm over this now. But yeah, that was it for me. 2 losses today. I had been on a pretty good streak here. I noticed I've kind of sized back up to like 100 shares, or like this one buying 30 shares of a $30, almost $40 stock. That's a decent size there. So I don't know if I don't want to say that's what's messing with me, but eventually you've got to size back up, or else, I mean, you can't just be making $5, $8, $10 a trade. Not going to really build an account that way. And I feel like I'm still feeling the market pretty well overall, but just a little early on some things, and just got to work out the timing a little bit more. But yeah, that was it for me. Hopefully, Monday brings greener days. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.